All right. So, what we will be focusing on is vertical lines, horizontal lines, and trend lines, right? So, let's start with vertical lines. All right. So, the reason why we use these tools is so we could identify sensitive areas or significant areas, right? So, these lines are just helping us um, uh, to look for important areas, right, in the market. So let's start with vertical lines. So with vertical lines, what we do is we will, for example, go to the monthly. We will go to the monthly and then we will go back a year. So you can do this when you're back testing. You can go back a year, you can go back 2 years, you can go back and mark or vertically mark every month, every week, every day, depending on what you're doing when you're back testing. Excuse me. So you will then go back a year. So that's 2023. We will go to, okay, where are we now? We'll just go back to 2023. Why am I confused? Okay, so we've made it into months. Uh, so 2023, we want to mark off December. So we're just going back a year. Okay. So then I use my vertical instrument and then I lock it in place. Once you lock your work in place, um, that should be secure, but also you can save your work. Now I'm using TradingView. I'm using TradingView um, on my phone for now. So, but on the PC, it should be on the right. You will see it'll say um, save in blue, and you can just select save, and then it'll save your work. Um, but over here, you can either choose auto save on your mobile, or you can just save it, right? Or you can just save your work. Okay, so from here, so we've vertically marked off a year, right? So then we can, from what we see, now we can start using our horizontal lines. Now, why do we need, basically, how do we use our horizontal lines? This is how we're going to use our horizontal lines. We will then select the horizontal line option, and also you can mark that off as well with a star so that it can appear all the time. And then what you do is we will then mark off all the what is this, the sensitive areas, or yeah, where you see a lot of resistance or multiple touches, however um, a person will phrase it. But uh, what you should do is you should put your horizontal line that all the wicks are included. So if you see here on top, um, let me just show you. If you are looking here on top, right there, right, you can see that. Oh, let me just use. Sorry. Sorry about that. Let me make that disappear. Um, if you use, right, the horizontal, and you are placing it right on top where those two wicks are sitting next to each other, or those two candles are sitting next to each other, those are technically, those are equal highs, right? So when you are putting your horizontal line must touch the wick. It must include the wick of the the bull and the bear candle. So all the wicks must be included, right? And then, so let's just go back. Um, you then continue. So let's go down. Okay. Here we see multiple wicks that are reaching an area that's acting as a resistance. So we can put a horizontal line there as well. We lock that in place, and then we see over here there's also another area, and you can look to the far left as well to kind of guide you. Um, but yeah, so as far as last year is concerned, we have now marked the significant or most of the areas that, you don't have to mark everything, just as long as you know which areas are important, because you don't want your chart to be too crazy, or full of indicators and lines and everything. You don't want it to be too crazy. So now that's horizontal lines. Uh, okay, so now we can move to trend lines. Now, when it comes to trend lines, you can then select trend line, and then you see, if you start your trend line from here, it's gonna be a little bit difficult for you to get the third touch, right? It's gonna be a little bit wide. So with trend lines, you must always remember, and it goes for any line actually. Um, if you're gonna use the bodies, you have to use the bodies throughout if you want it to be accurate. Um, if you're wanting to use the wicks, excuse me, if you're wanting to use the wicks, then you use the wicks throughout. So let's say we are using our trend line. So we will start over here, right at this point. Though we'll start with the structure that is most recent or closer to like the edge where this structure is internal. Like if you look at the structure over here, right? If you look at the structure over here, that structure is a little bit it's internal, right? This one is like on the edge, so you can work with this going up and you'll be able to get more touches, right? um let's just go back. So then we will be using this one, the structure over here, right? So these two uh let me just point to like point to it accurately. Okay, so these two candles which are forming equal lows are the ones that we're going to be working with. Okay, so what we do is we will then select our trend line, Let me just select it again. Trend line. So let's say we are going to work from wick to wick. So I'm going to use this wick. Sorry. I'm going to use this wick, right? And that wick. So that would be accurate. Okay. So let's say if I were to use the body, then I would just move it that it's touching the body. You can touch this body as well. Ooh, sorry. Let's place that there and lock it. So if you don't lock your stuff, then things will move around. So body to body, and then obviously you'll wait for the third touch. So normally the when it comes to trend lines, the rule of thumb is that it should touch at least 3 times. Then it is a valid um, a valid line or valid trend line. So that'll be that'll be the first touch, right? The second touch, and then we'll be waiting for a third touch. Okay, and then that will qualify it as a valid trend line. Or what we could do is we could, if we're talking about the fact that we can now use the wicks, right? If we're going to use the wicks, then this will be the first touch. That'll be the second touch. And this will be the third touch, if that makes sense. Um, so basically, that's it. Um, that's it in terms of vertical lines, horizontal lines, and trend lines. So normally I would ask that just to show that you understand what I am talking about. So now let's go down to weekly. Weekly, there you will see the structure, how it looks on the weekly, on the daily. This is how the structure looks on the daily. And you can see that, you know, it's respected. And this is just a breakout. There's multiple touches when you're going down further, but it's just that when you have your touches on higher time frames, then it is stronger. Anything that is confirmed on higher time frames will be stronger. So basically then your homework would be that you can just choose 3 pairs, 3 instruments, whether it's gold, USD, JPY, anything, US 30, whatever you want to select. Maybe, yeah, choose 3 and then just go back a year, mark it off, use your vertical line to just go back a year, and then I would then want you to use your vertical lines, your horizontal lines, and your trend lines to show me that you understand that concept. But that is it for now.